All right, let's talk about the scariest part. You're a new person. Not just any new person, but you're the new person. I cannot tell you how many times I've been the new kid, the new adult, the new person, in a new workplace, in a new school, and it is pretty much always the same game because every place is just a place where human beings live. Let's dive in. Look, the status quo is we think being new is going to be awkward. We think it's going to be hard. We think we're going to be the odd man out. We're going to be the fish out of water. We have all these fears and trepidations. You're going to run into a ton of different resistance. But I want to suggest to you that maybe you can flip the script, that there's actually an opportunity in all of that because everyone around you is really familiar with how everything works. They're kind of on a narrative trail. You know, if you've had the same friends for 10 years, we all kind of know the roles we play. Even within your own nuclear family, you know that this person in the family, mom or dad, they always do this thing, or this is their favorite thing to eat, or on this day at this time they like to watch this thing, and that's because they're into this other thing, and that's based in this personality trait of theirs. So we all have this. We all have these sort of set dynamics, and when you're the new person, you get to define who you are, and you actually get to be the person that sits back and can quietly assess what's going on. But what I really want to make sure you know is you have this thing called unbiased objectivity. You don't know who made that one project or whose suggestion was this thing or the other thing. So you are coming at things completely objectively. And that is actually your advantage. Because when you are totally objective, you can see through all of the narrative, all of the malaise, all of the things that are there because there was this rub between people, or, well, we all don't like to push back on so-and-so because, well, it gets difficult. And that's why this particular streamlined piece of work is not so streamlined. Or maybe you are a student in a new school and nobody really pushes back on Darren because Darren is kind of difficult. Whether he's a bully or he's just a difficult personality, you'll notice that there are ways that people do things in different places because they've gotten used to it. It's just the way it is there. Well, when you're the new person, you actually can see through that. You don't have to get caught up in those things. And as a part of you getting to reinvent yourself, part of deciding who you are, which can just be a continuation, or maybe you want to play and have some fun, never know, you can actually see right through that stuff. It's almost like having a social X-ray vision. Sometimes it can feel like because you're around people who have known each other for a long time, you're further behind. But you actually have this opportunity to accelerate beyond anybody. And here is the very key to all of this. Silence. Don't talk. Talk like 20, 40, maybe even 50% less than everybody else. Just listen. Listen to what they're talking about and then ask them questions about themselves, about their lives, things that they like to do. Get them to kind of open up. And the way to do that is 2 or 3 questions away. You ask them how they are. They'll answer. If it's a one-word wonder, ask again, what'd you do this weekend? What are you up to this weekend? How are you? What was the last project you worked on that you liked? Hey, I'm curious about this thing in town. Do you know about it? Get them to give you more than 5 or 6 words. And then be interested in their answer. Legitimately interested. And it won't be hard because you're the new person. Everything is new. Everything is that external stimulation that we talked about. So be interested and then take note of it. Remember what they said. Learn a thing or two about it. And then put that in your back pocket. And at some point in time, somewhere in the next 30 to 90 days, allow that same thing to come up and kind of gently sprinkle in this piece of information you learned. Or maybe this person is into, I don't know, cycle racing and you learned something about it. Ask about it. It'll anchor the conversations and they'll feel appreciated because the gift of the person who listens is that they get everybody to feel good, because the best way to make somebody feel good is to allow them to see something about themselves that maybe they'd gotten used to or they overlooked. That's positive. That's interesting. People becoming interested or grateful for something about themselves because of the way that you ask them questions and listen to them and then invest in the things that they are interested in, those people will become your friends. You will become their friends. And in turn, that cycle of communication will end up developing an entire social network. And that kind of stuff can be established in the first 90 days. And 90 days, guys, 90 days, that's it. That's all you got before you get sort of pulled into the standards of that place, before you aren't really the new person anymore, because something will happen. There will be a project that takes over everybody's schedule and there just isn't really time to show you the ropes. Or there's going to be another new person, or something in your life happens. And now all of a sudden, like we talked about in the last video with the 18-month wall, all of a sudden things become a little bit less new. They're still new and they're still exciting, but you're not the new person anymore. So you've got 90 days to take advantage of this. And I think that you can do it, and I think you can do it really, really well. You just have to remember, be relaxed. Listen, hear what they're actually saying, take note of it, and actually care about it. You'll find that this isn't just something about being a new person. This is actually really beneficial if you're a regular person in a regular world, like we all ultimately are. Listening to people, hearing what they have to say, taking note of it, and then bringing it back up later. We all feel heard, and that gives us this sense of feeling seen, and that's actually all the human being wants. And if you can establish that with somebody that you've met within a 90-day period, you've made this thing called an impression. So in the 90 days that you have to kind of suss out the situation, understand the hierarchies, who's who, what, the first 30 days are actually all of your first impressions. It's where everybody gets a first read on you, and it's also where you get your first read on everybody else. So before you go in to day one, be intentional. Choose to ask questions, but preface them with, this thing is really fascinating. Can you tell me more about it? As opposed to, why do we do that way? There is a way to approach things and to approach people. You'll find that no matter where you are, there is some semblance of communication that you can relate to from wherever you came from. There's a colloquialism, there's a phraseology, something that's relatable. And you'll find that a lot of it all plays on feeling and emotion in the exact same way it did in the place that you came from. It just might sound different and the words might be a little bit different. I can tell you, every single time that I have been new, I spend the first month, maybe 2 months, just not really talking all that much. Just listening and taking it in and understanding the interconnectivity of things. Because a lot of people take a little while to let their personality out. And it's the personality you want to get to know. Because it's also your personality that you want to be able to carry with you. So as the new person, you don't just have the advantage of having everything available to you in an unbiased way, but you can actually assess who is part of what process within the workplace, who is part of what trickle of information in your academic institution or in high school, I don't know, where you'll find that marketing and PR and gossip are the exact same thing. These are things that you can see because you're new, because you can view things with an unbiased, totally objective perspective. And then if you take the time to be gentle in the way you take in information and you really hear things, all of a sudden, you'll be at the 6-month mark and it'll seem like you'll have been there forever, and you'll start hearing things like this. Man, has it really only been 6 months? I don't even remember a time where you weren't here. All of those things, they will improve every aspect of your life, whether it's job performance, your social life, where you live, or how you go about your day-to-day and your weekends. All of that stuff will improve only with the simple adjustment that it is not a time for you to necessarily have to be awkward. It can just be a time where you get to be the person that nobody knows and therefore they feel totally safe with. Try it out. It really does work. Listen, ask, remember, and bring it back later. People will feel seen and valued, and you will find that when someone does that for you, it makes a big difference as well. And that's how you can take complete advantage of being the new person. You add to what's already there, as opposed to either subtracting or temporarily halting and regressing. You'll be amazed how people react when you're just easy, because that's all of us actually really want. So good luck with it. Go show them who you are. We all want to know. We're all dying to meet you, and have fun with it. It's a really, really good time in your life. It's a special time in your life, and you're going to remember it. And the best part, when you get through this and you see how well you've done, how you thought this was going to kill you, you thought this was going to be the end, you thought you were never going to make it, and then you thrived and you kicked butt in your own way. I'll see you next week.